This is the Courtship of Princess Leia review by Dave Wolverton. I thought the book was pretty interesting and had a lot of buildable scenes in it, such as Han Solo returning to Coruscant on the Mon Ramonda Mon Calamari cruiser, and Leia being asked to be married to Princess Holder with all 63 worlds giving her gifts and putting on a show for her on Coruscant. I also thought it was funny how Han tried to play Sabak to win money because he thought Solder was going to marry Leia and he wanted to marry her himself. So he plays Sabak, wins Dathomir, and then kidnaps Leia with the gun of command and travels to Dathomir. Princess Solder eventually meets Luke, who learned about Dathomir as well. They both go to Dathomir to try to get Leia back from Han. On Dathomir, they meet the Dathomiri witches, which were a lot like the Hapen Society, which are have both matriarchies where women are on top of the society. And the witches of Dathomir live on the planet and are made up of different clans, such as the Sinking Mountain clan and the Night Sisters, among others. And they're all led by women, but they take men as slaves, like Tenir Joe tried to do to Luke and later a soldier. And Luke met Tenel on the Chanthor, I think that's what it's called, when he was trying to find out why Yoda went on the planet and encountered the Night Witches. The Witches of Dathomir. The Witches of Dathomir also ride on Rancors that are a lot larger than the ones seen in Jabba's palace. They're also capable of wearing harnesses and are a lot nicer and more intelligent than the Rancors outside of Dathomir. They're also able to carry spears and also use nets and are able to know what things like either or. They're also scared of the Night Sisters that treat them badly, that are led by this person named Kazarian. The Rancors are a pretty interesting part of the Witches of Dathomir Society. The Singing Mountain clan seems to use them a lot, and they also help Han, Leia, Chewbacca, and R2D2, and Luke and a soldier get to the Imperial base on time before the Night Sisters attack the Singing Mountain clan. They also Luke seems to be able to communicate a lot with them using the Force. They seem to be really kind and gentle, which is a lot different than what they appear like in episode 6, where they seem to just be monsters when they really aren't, which I thought was pretty interesting. The Witches of Dathomir, such as the Singing Mountain clan, also use these worms called Woofa worms in all of their equipment, such as their harnesses for Rancors and some other things like what their clothes and stuff. because it's a very strong fabric to use, and they're apparently reckoned to be the guardians of things that the Claw built called Star Temples, but that was not invented yet in the Courtship of Princess Leia, so they're just worms until then. Until future work that explained it. The witches of Dathomir also use spells to control the Force, such as Tanel Jill's Spell of Storm, which is basically like Force Storm, where she can control lightning and control storms on Dathomir. And she uses them when she fights stormtroopers that her and Luke encounter in the book. The Night Sisters, led by Kazarian, use the dark side of the Force. And because they use the dark side, their blood vessels on their face, as well as their arms and legs and other parts of their body, have their blood vessels burst open and become purple for whatever reason. They also usually torture people a lot more than the other witches of Dathomir. They also even make Palpatine scared, but that's assumed by Leia, so I'm not really sure if it's accurate or not. They're later killed, defeated when Han kills her when she's trying to escape into space. The fleet that Prince Isolde called eventually returned with his mother to Somé, and they helped defeat Warlord Singe's fleet over Dathomir. Han actually says "kissed by Wookiee," but she said in a different book, but he defeated Warlord Singe. And Warlord Singe is finally defeated in the book, and everyone lives happily ever after that. Prince Isolde's mother actually tries to kill Leia in the book, but she keeps failing. Then she eventually tells Prince Isolde that she tried to kill Leia, and Prince Isolde eventually decides to marry Tena Jill because he thinks she's a very strong woman who would make a next ruler for the Hapes. Han and Leia eventually get married by the end of the book, and they have their wedding on Coruscant. Luke locks C-3PO in a closet though, because C-3PO told him that Han Solo's ancestor was only faking to be king of Corellia, and he was actually a bad pirate instead. So Luke hides him in the closet so he wouldn't tell anybody at the wedding, so C-3PO wouldn't ruin it. The wedding actually only lasts the last page of the book, so despite the book being called Courtship of Princess Leia, the actual wedding and her trying to get married matters not that much to the book, and the book is more about Dathomir and exploring the different witches that exist on it, and Luke being a Jedi and other things. The book is overall pretty interesting to read. I recommend anyone who's interested in the Star Wars to check it out for themselves. I'll see you next time. Bye.